Hey, my name is PolishLynx and welcome to Driftwood, the visual novel. Let's see what's going to happen after a little break. Yeah, class time again, and the sound of people buzzing about in the halls fills the school. It's like a beehive with how little the main hall is, but luckily Luca is around to lead me down the hallway into the conjunction of the 3 rooms. Our English class is in the room to the right of Mr. Mallard's. Okay. And? Okay, that's kind of easy, I think. I believe. Excuse me, Marcus, could I have a word? Mr. Mallard stands in front of his door, gesturing me over as he opens it up and offers for me to enter first. Sure. But why? Once inside, Mr. Mallard turns to me with a casual smile. How are things? First day going well? Yeah. Sure. Of course everything is great. Good, I just want to compliment you on your behavior. You're the first student who ever gave me a handshake after a lecture. I figured it was the least I could do for making the first class so interesting. I rub the back of my neck, stretching the muscles in my left arm as a small pain pings up my spine. Mallard seems to notice my discomfort from the action and purses his lips. Just so you're aware, some of the teachers know of what happened to you during your junior year in Boston. Really? No, I told my mother specifically not to tell the school because I didn't want to be treated differently due to events last spring. I suppose it does make sense they should know. The school does have my medical history in case of allergies and stuff. I'll keep it on the down low. I know it's not something you probably want to talk to people about. He nods his head and hands me a folder with my name on it. The nurse doesn't actually show around very often, but inside is a list of phone numbers in case you need any of the faculty. And in regards to your wound, I suggest that you don't do anything strenuous just yet, so don't try and pitch for a baseball team or anything. But I already signed up there! Thanks, I appreciate not telling everyone. I don't plan on becoming the next Pedro Martinez. Mr. Mal smirks slightly at my joke. I like you, Marcus. You should fit in here just fine. He turns and sits down at his desk, letting out a soft sigh and peering at the clock on his computer before making a broom motion with his hand. No, scrum, you'll be late for your second class. Alrighty, thank you. See ya. I leave his room, glancing at the folder he gave me as I slowly approach the door of the English room. My hand wraps around the handle of the door and I give it a light push, but instead, the door swings open. Because of my grip on the handle, I'm tugged forward into the room and I trip. A blur of color fills my eyes as I fall, and when I lift my head, I came face to face with a strawberry blonde hair girl with vibrant emerald eyes. The two of us just stare at one another for a second or so before I realize I've got my hands at either side of her body. The green eyes that peer back at me are surprised at first, probably because they don't recognize who I am. And probably because I'm on top of her. Oh shit. It doesn't take long for her to get angry and shove me off of her. Who are you? Marcus, I'm a transfer student. Please stay here in front office. I was going until this kid tried molesting me. I scramble to grab my things and stand back up, looking towards his bed and then back towards the girl in an attempt to explain myself. It was a mistake, I tripped, sorry. The girl just stares at me and I can't help but look her over. She has long, almost mangy looking blondish brown hair. Green eyes, nearly nothing in the half department. Maybe standing close to 5 feet if that. I don't see that as a trouble. A mistake? You fell on top of me! Front office, now! The blonde-haired girl just makes a sure expression before pushing past me without another word. Have a seat wherever you want, Marcus. I'm sorry for her behavior. It's alright. I find Yuka and sit down beside her, letting out a very relieved sigh. That was tiring. She grins and peers out at the door that Tyrion had just departed from. God damn that sun. It's not good having sun right going into your eyes while playing. Tyrion is very terrifying. Terrifying? What? Whatever. Yuko just leans back in her seat and settles her hands down on the table, stretching. That was a terrible joke, dude. She's a bit of a... Her voice fades out slowly as if she's having a hard time finding the word she was going to use, only to murmur under her breath so that only I can hear her. A bitch. Ouch. That's not nice to say something like that about her. Okay, what do we have here? Verb to go, future perfect. I will have gone. I won't have gone. Will I have gone? Oh! That's actually correct! Okay, she nods confidently then and sits back upright in her chair, looking towards it with a contented smile. That's only a little subtle. Well, she's proven it many times herself. She did seem like a bit of a harpy, but I'm sure if I talked to her outside of class she might not be so hostile. Elizabeth coughs out, clearing her throat. As I was saying, unfortunately Felicia has come down with the flu, so I'll be taking her position as the English and Language Arts teacher until she recovers. Language Arts? What's that? I understand English, but Language Arts? Or is it like, you know, merged into one thing? And it's basically English. Any questions? The room is silence. Perfect. She's left me with the assignment of letting you all free read or write for an hour, and then we'll be having a small discussion about character development. The class quickly goes to work with writing on laptops or on paper, others flipping through books or scrolling through tablets. The whole class has some form of branded electronic product, and I feel a little left out without having anything aside from a phone. Yuko slides a book to me along the table and whispers under her breath. If you want to read, here's a good one. It was assigned as summer reading, but most of the class didn't bother doing it. I still enjoy it though. I nod my head and thanks, and because I have nothing better to do, I start to read, even though reading books has always been a trouble for me. Not for me. Well, I can't say I read a lot of books. But, well, I enjoy them. If I feel like reading, actually. Honestly, I just have a phobia of large blocks of text. Is there such thing? If only people wrote in fragmented sentences. Maybe then someone could write a story about me that I could actually read. What? The class goes by a lot slower than I would have liked, and Elizabeth is far from as good of a teacher as Mr. Mallard, even if she's just a sub. What's more painful is how my schedule is set up. I only have 2 or 3 classes a day, but they are all excessively long. I guess this school is about focus and productivity towards only a few things a day. Luckily the book Yuko gave me is at least a little interesting. It's about a man looking for a teacher for some reason, but instead he finds an ape inside an apartment building that can speak telepathically to people. Okay. The author sure had to be doped up on some crazy stuff to come up with that. Yuko's hand gives my back a pat once the rather dull class discussion about character is finished. Hey, it was nice meeting you today. Hopefully we'll bump into one another tomorrow. Alright, thanks for looking out for me today, Yuko. No problem, I'd stick around, but I've got to go and help a friend of mine with some homework that's due by tomorrow morning. All good. Did you want this back? I nod my head in thanks and offer her back the book she had lent before class. She pushed it back towards me, smiling. Keep it. I know you liked it. You didn't look up from it once. And with that, she's gone. Luckily, Eric has plopped himself down in Lucas' seat, smiling smugly. So, how about I kick your butt in some video games to make up for you not telling me about my Hitler stash? I blink at the suggestion, but I've got nothing else planned and was sort of worried I'd be spending the rest of my day up in my room doing nothing. Sure, bring it on! I grin back, Elric entertained by my competitive attitude. Sweet, me and Jay will be back at home base. See you there. Eric hops up just as quickly as he had sat down and saunters out of the room, leaving only me and Elizabeth. I figure it's not worth trying to talk to her. She looks frustrated and exhausted, and so I just give her a friendly goodbye and leave the room. I've always wondered how much of a living hell it is to be a substitute teacher. Probably very, very much. You get kids pulling pranks on you, not obeying your commands, or just generally giving your shit. Outside, I find Tyrion standing on the deck area of the school's entrance. Unsure of how to really make up for our previous encounter, I decide apologizing is probably the best option. Hey, sorry about later. Lost my balance when you tugged the door open. She gives me that some sort of look, like I'm a giant lemon-wedged creature here to befool her day. It's fine. Eh? What exactly were you getting kicked out for anyways? The sore look on her face fades and she looks at me now, with curiosity, as if baffled that I cared. I didn't do the summer reading. Is that it? Seems a little harsh. The sore look returns to her face and she grumbles low so only I can hear. Well, Elizabeth just can't, so it doesn't really matter anyways. She isn't! Come on! I'm not sure what to make of that comment, but it's probably a clue as to why she got kicked out. Change the subject or ask why she didn't read it. I don't know. Okay, if we ask why, she might get angry. If we change the subject, she also might get angry. Change the subject. So what? What grade are you in? 11th. That's actually a little surprising. I was expecting 9th due to her size. Okay, that's also half, man. Only half. What am I saying? God damn it, that sun is so annoying. I need to close the window. I would close the window if it wasn't so hot. And I don't really want to switch on the fan because it would be loud as hell again. What was I saying? It's only the half. Half is not really important. In my case it is. Not really. I mean, whatever. I will not explain. I think I explained it before somewhere. That I'm more into my half of or lower. Not higher. I don't know why. That's weird, right? Go. Oh. She can apparently see it on my face and gives me an annoyed glare. Let me guess, you're too short to be a senior or something quite stupid. Bingo. My statement catches her slightly off balance and she contorts her head to look at me like I'm crazy. What? Never heard that term before? She pauses and looks at me suspiciously. No, you're just the first person to admit it when I call them out on it. She settles down and actually gives me a bit of a smile. I guess she liked truthful people. Yes! I figured you were a freshman, really. Her smile reverts back in the disgusted curl of a frown. Girl looked at me angrily. Sorry. I'm not that short. Well, I mean not all freshmen are short. I give her a look up and down as if to reaffirm my statement. You just look really young. Her eyes leer into me like I'm the Antichrist waltzing the Vatican on a Sunday morning. These statements are so freaking funny. Now you're commenting on how big my boobs are! No. But you don't seem to be flat at all. I giggled at her response. What? No, that has nothing to do with it. I'm clearly forced to backtrack. I'm no pervert, especially not one who comments on people's brazier size. Only think about that, okay? Even though the outline of her chest is nearly non-existent. Really? Because when she gets her hands like she has them now, you can see that she's not. It's not. Her chest is not really non-existent. But whatever. If it weren't for her long hair and girly face, I'd probably mistake her for a wimpy-looking guy. Whatever. Then, what are you saying? You just look young. It's nothing facious? She doesn't seem to buy it, but nods her head. Alrighty then. Right. I'll see you later. Maybe. I've got stuff to do. Yuko's term certainly fits Taryn well enough. No, it's funny, her being so short and harmless looking but having such an angsty and defensive personality to contrast her looks. I guess they balance one another out. See ya, weirdo! Ah, goddammit. Ouch. That hurt me. I turned, making my way down the school's front steps, venturing back towards the dorms in hopes of clearing my mind of that awkward conversation. The sound of buttons and joysticks being mashed and pressed fills the chilled air of the lunch area. I sit beside Jay as he plays a round of 3D fighter game with Eric, who is on the floor sitting on a few pillows. The two quickly finish the round and with a small sigh, Jay passes the controller to me, raising his arms over his head. Man, Eric, you're so cheap. Eric turns slightly to look over his shoulder and smirks at us. Not my fault you counter-picked yourself. Whatever, you only play one character, so if I really wanted to, I could counter-pick you just as bad. Eric snorts and rolls his eyes before looking back up towards the screen and locking in the same character as before. Huh? I haven't played this in forever, so sorry if I'm rusty. I'll go easy. Jay leans over and whispers in my ear, pointing at the right corner of the screen. Pick Dunk Master Funk. Alright. I casually scroll over each character until I end up on Dunk Master Funk. Eric's reaction is immediate and he lets out a groan of annoyance. Oh, come on Jay, you can't just tell him who counters me. I lock in my character as Jay and I share a chuckle and the match starts shortly after. As hard as Eric tries, he isn't able to beat my character due to the fact his character is ice-based and mine is fire. The match ends and Eric lays out the sigh, setting the controller down and sliding it toward Jay. During the last match, it dawns on me that Malk has been watching from behind us with a cautious look on his face. I call out to him as the match between Jay and myself starts, catching his attention for a short time. Hey Mont, want to play the winner? Yeah, boy. What? He throws himself up and over onto the couch beside me, watching my match with Jay. I'm able to win again, and not so much because I perform well. Perform? Well, misspell here, but because Jay messes up. Meh, good game. He passes the controller to Matt, who takes it carefully between his hands. Give you a sec. Sure. What? I nod and let him open the options and change a few customizable buttons before both of us lock in with our characters ready for the match. Within a few seconds, Matt is haphazardly smashing and rolling the joysticks of the controller with his thumbs like an acrobat. He lands combo after combo and then uses his ultimate before I can even get a block off. Matt ends with a perfect game, not taking a single point of damage and leaving me feeling like a complete idiot. Good day. You just got knocked the fuck out. Matt casually grins, leaning back in his seat. MLG status pro 420XXX, your mom 420XXX69. What? What Matt said makes absolutely no sense, but I hand over the controller to Eric and grin back at the boy dressed in white beside me. I felt like I was playing against a robot. Matt turns to me and gives me a flat, emotionless look before speaking in monotone. Beep beep. Beep boop. Sex robot. Sex robot. Sex robot. Sex robot. Yeah, right. Right. The next match starts up and Eric meets the same fate. A perfect match once again. We look to Jay as if he's our last hope for beating Matt. Unfortunately, he's unable to conquer the beast of a player sitting beside me, but at the very least he does some damage to Matt. Matt stands up and brushes his shoulders off, stretching and subtly showing off. Huh. Get on, Sam. I ain't got time for games. He tosses the controller down to the couch and leaves without another word. He kicked our ass, man. I never thought Matt was good at anything. Well, he's good at games at least. We spend the next few hours trying our best to get better, in the hopes of being able to beat Matt in the future, but the quality of Matt's playtime is eons ahead of what we're capable of. Yeah, probably true. During the night hours, I spent my last bit of time awake in my room, flipping through the pages of the book Yuko had given me earlier. After reading through a few chapters, I set the book down on my nightstand and stare up at the ceiling in thought. I'm left wondering about everyone I've met. Yuko and why she's so infatuated with helping me out. Taryn and how she's, well, kind of a bitch. No, she isn't. But seems so friendly as long as you don't step on any of her landmines. Exactly. The girl at the back of the classroom. Today was interesting, but I'm sure tomorrow will bring just as many new experiences. But for now, I'd say it's time to sleep. Next day, the sound of something smashing against wood echoes into my room. I grab for my phone and check the time, only to be greeted by the same noise coming from my door. Someone's knocking at my door at 6:30 in the morning. What the hell? I rolled out of bed with a groggy sigh and scoot my feet across the floor. With a reluctant grab, I twist the doorknob and pull my door open. Good morning, sunshine. Matt stands in the doorway with a cheesy grin on his face. We're up already, and what do you want? Well, figuring I kick your ass in the game yesterday, I thought it would be a good gesture to show you where everyone gets their food. Besides, I need to restock my purple drink. Drink? Whatever. Just so you're aware, I'm not letting you use my fridge for your soda. Matt gives me a cynical look and crosses his arms. Are you sure about that? Pretty sure. We look at one another for a long moment before Matt finally accepts the fact he wasn't going to be able to use my fridge to store his drinks. Alright, fine, but let's hurry up. Can I at least get dressed first? No, you can get ready for school after we get back. I sigh, grabbing my phone and wallet, stuffing them in my pajama pockets before wiggling on my shoes and venturing out with Matt. I feel ridiculous walking around with just my pajamas on, but luckily almost no one is out yet and the garden area and pathway to the school are barren. We pace by the front deck of the school and venture down the drive leading to the main road. Matt blubbers on about how he was able to beat us in the fighting game yesterday because of how often he played it online competitively. I really don't care, I'm far too sleepy to engage in a conversation with him, so I just nod my head on the ground. After a short walk, we end up at the entrance of an old, out-of-date looking supermarket. Matt leads me inside and my eyes are burned by the hard glare of the fluorescent lights. There is something about fluorescent lights that just make me feel sick or dopey. They especially remind me of my days in the hospital during the spring. Come on, man. We move up an aisle, with Matt with paper bags in hand, stuffing them with different groceries, shoveling them off the shelves like snow. His items vary from boxes of cereal to ranch dressing. During his shopping spree, I managed to gather a bag of groceries, mostly basic stuff like milk, bread and lunch meats. We meet back up at the cash registers. Matt's bags are separated by categories. One is filled with food and other assortments, while the other is packed with 2-liter grape soda bottles. While the old lady runs his items over the scanner, Matt does a weird, unappealing and overly risk dance, even singing along as though he was Usher, or even worse, pretending to be Michael Jackson. Got my grape drunk, Okay, I'm not going to sing this. Right. I sidestep over to the next cashier, coming face to face with a red-haired woman who looks just as sleepy as I do and about my age. It's refreshing to see that I'm not the only one who didn't get enough sleep, but she's up because she has to work, not because she has an idiot like Matt as a doormate. Morning. The woman at the register just smiles and bows her head as she takes my bag of things and starts to scan the items one by one. She's wearing the usual cashier-style apron with her name tag embroidered onto her chest area. Jessica. Aside from her silence, the only noticeable interesting thing about her is the beauty mark just below the corner of her right eye. Beauty marks have never really been my thing, but it looks oddly distinguished on her. That would be $35.63. Her voice is mature sounding compared to the voices of kids at school. I pull out two $20 bills from my wallet and accept my change, only to drop the coins into the tip tray before stuffing the dollars left over back into my wallet. Oh, thanks. No problem. Okay. Once the transaction is complete, I grab my things and head outside, only to find Mant with a skull in his face. Don't talk to her, man. What? She's a succubus. A boss. Stole a nigga's shirt and then bashed it. I'm too tired to really follow what Mant is trying to say, but I guess he hit a crush on her or something and she shot him down. Sorry to hear that. And can we go back now? Fine. Stuffing each item in my fridge would be a lot easier if Matt wasn't shuffling through what I had bought. Hey man, I didn't know you liked string cheese. Dude man, brown flakes? Who eats brown flakes? I reach over and grab the box of cereal from him, setting it aside. It was the only box I saw that doesn't taste like sugary cardboard. Matt just looks at me suspiciously, like I'm from another planet. It's literally the best type of cereal. If you say so. At least for the last few items, Matt actually helps me and my fridge is packed with food and drink relatively quickly and neatly. Once I shoo him out of my room, I'm left with a few minutes to get myself washed and dressed. Back to class. The clock strikes 8:30 AM and class begins. Luckily, I'm already sitting at my desk beside Yuko, who seems a little absent-minded. She's not as bubbly or excited as she was yesterday. I think everyone in the room has the same mentality. It only makes me wonder how the hell Matt was so lively this morning. Mr. Mullard even has a bit of a sleepy haze to his mood, and his lecture today is a lot less interactive and eye-opening. Time passes slowly, but eventually he ends his lecture and claps his hands together. Alright, for the grab project this semester, I'll be pairing each of you into groups of 2. Hey. Yuko and Piper. Who's Piper? Eric and Clentir. Who's Clentir? Sonia and Salix. Who's Sonia and who's Salix? Alex and Chaz. Who are these people? Marcus and Ellen. Ellen? Who is Ellen? Is that the girl, the shy girl? Mr. Mart continues to list off names in groups of 2 as he pairs us up for a group project. I lean over and whisper to Yoko silently as Malak drones on with people's names. Who and where is Ellen? She's the girl sitting at the very back near Mr. Malak's desk. Yoko purses her lips for a moment and smiles slyly. Good luck, you will need it. Eh? What's that supposed to mean? She's a shy one. Yoko gestures her partner over to the table we're sitting at to replace my seat once I move. I take my leave and make my way over to the empty seat at the back of the room beside Ellen. I glance down at the girl assigned to be my partner, and while I do want to say hello, her gaze is elsewhere. She's staring off at something outside, and I don't want to distract her from whatever is so interesting or make things awkward. So I just sit down beside her. During the first few moments while Mr. Mal finishes his instructions for the whole project, she doesn't even acknowledge my existence. The project, in short, is a research paper about history repeating itself in any way, due on Monday of the next week. Oh. Adding on top of the work, the group must make a 5-minute presentation in front of the class using citations from their paper. 5 minutes? What kind of presentation is that? How can you make a presentation 5 minutes long? Wait, it's actually possible. Wait, no. How long was my presentation of my English exam? I think it was 10 minutes, but I might be wrong here. Or maybe it was 5 minutes as well. I remember, well, speaking very fast back then. Even though I prepared everything the day before, but the concept was in my mind, so preparing it one day before was not a problem. Well, actually correcting it the way I wanted it to be, like, because before we kind of presented the thing in the class. However, in the class we had like, I think 10 minutes for it, or 15 maybe even, and in the exam it was shorter amount of time, but whatever, I passed it. I got maximum points from the oral exam, so basically presentation and answering question about the topic we choose, because the presentation was about with the topic we came up with. But it was so long ago. Continue. The class suddenly goes to work after Mallard excuses himself from the room, leaving me to sit beside this Ellen girl with no idea of where to start. I peer down at her, tapping my fingers lightly against the table out of nervous energy. This apparently catches her attention. She stares at me for a moment with this frightened, nervous smile on her face, only to glance back out the window. Great, I'm sure she's super excited about being my partner. Either way, if we just sit here and mope around, nothing will get done. Hey, so, any ideas as to what you might want to do for the paper? She looks back towards me, remaining voiceless, even still. You could maybe be right about needing some luck with the situation. Anything? I don't know. She says this in such a quiet voice it's hardly audible over the sound of our classmates in the background. Well, what are you interested in? Not very much. Well, that's helpful. History, art, math, anything at all. She closed her eyes, seeming to be bluntly ignoring me now. Eventually she opens them, only to look everywhere aside from me until there's nothing new aside from my eyes. Her eyes glimmer with a childish innocence and her cheeks are stained in a blush of embarrassment. I like piano. Just piano. She gives a subtle nod that is both unconvincing and endearing. She reminds me of a puppy in a window that is anxiously looking out at the passing world. I also notice she keeps fidgeting, either flattening out something on her uniform or tugging the sleeves down to cover her small pale fingers. I fold my hands on the table, trying to plot a way we may be able to make her fascination of piano into a research paper. If that's even possible. A few minutes of awkward silence passes and eventually I'm able to come up with a basic idea. Now the challenge is seeing if Ellen likes it. I glance back towards Ellen, only to find her looking out the window wistfully once more. Her nervous and compulsive habits make me think she must not be someone who enjoys crowds or social interaction in a group setting. Same. Well, yeah, I didn't like spending time in large groups. Let alone one-on-one, seeing as how much of a challenge this is. Hey, Ellen, right? She picks back up at me at the motion of her name, and her cheeks flush a little bit darker, as if her name is something she isn't used to hearing. Yeah. She parts her lips slightly as if she were going to continue, but her eyes trail back down to the pool in front of us, and she goes quiet again. Well, first off, it's nice to meet you. Her lightly hued green eyes jitter vaguely at what I say. It feels like I might have frightened her by just being polite. She swallows down her anxiety and a small mouse-like voice once again peeps out. You too, Marcus. Something about the fact she remembered my name makes me smile, and as a reaction she blushes even darker. In a way I feel sort of bad or guilty for making her blush so much, but it's not my fault she's so skittish. Now that I've got her attention and she isn't completely ignoring me, I think it's best I give her the basics of what I was thinking before class ends, and she runs off. I apologize for that. So, for a project, how about we do something about music history? Her head props up at this suggestion, eyes twinkling ever so slightly with interest at the notion. Maybe we could write about how music artists copy each other or take rhythm or lyrics from the other artists and recreate thoughts or trends. Ellen's gaze falters for a moment, and I feel like I'm losing her, but she beams back up towards me. Like something? Yeah, sort of. That's okay. Only okay. I tilt my head slightly, not entirely sure if she actually held any real interest. What do you mean? Me putting her on the spot doesn't seem to make her any more comfortable. I like it. She certainly likes giving her vocabulary to a minimum, but at least she likes the idea. Alright, awesome. I offer her a smile and take a peek at the clock above the door of the classroom, only to find that class is about to end. We can start working next class. We should probably look up some stuff before the info. So if you find anything interesting, let me know. Okay. Mr. Mal turns to the room with a grilled cheese sandwich from the lunch counter in the school's main hall. He takes a bite. The cheese tendrils connecting his mouth to the sandwich snap one by one. He takes a little time to chew before speaking. Everyone got their ideas! You know, that would be the biggest problem with me, because I would definitely not be able to come with an idea in class. Somehow being in class was capable of taking away any ideas from my mind. Yeah, the sight of this drives groans of envy throughout the class, which Mr. Mala tosses aside and gestures to the door. Alright, you're dismissed. Presentations and papers are due on Monday in class. If you're late, your grade will be cut in half. In half? That's a lot, I understand. One lower, but in half? With that in mind, I turn my attention back to Ellen, who is packing up her things in a hurry. Now that the class is over, she seems even more uncomfortable sitting beside me. We good? She gives me a small, not so reassuring smile before taking her things and leaving. I'm really not sure what her deal is, but as long as we get the project done, I think I'll be okay with her being so overwrought and shy. How'd it go? You goes looming over the table, something I hadn't noticed. Perhaps because the reason Ellen left so suddenly. She's quiet. You noticed? No. You got titters, reaching a hand up to her lips to shush herself halfly. I'm not really sure if it will be possible to work with her like that for the whole project. Otherwise, I might just be doing all the work myself. Not nice, man, to think that. You know, Marcus, if you need help, you can always just ask. Always just ask. Okay. But now that I think about it, I believe that it's actually always the people that are allowed that are not actually doing anything during the project. At least that's what I always experience. You know, every time I land in the group, I landed in the group, then most of the times I had to do everything by myself. I mean, it was always like that in all the schools, and in university it was like maybe 2 or 3 people that were actually doing something when I landed with them in the group. The others, well, project made by PolishLynx, and the addition of the names later on of the others. That was always like that. Okay. Yuko leans down, letting her elbows rest against the table with her bosom looming just above it, pushed between her arms slightly. I take her mothering attitude towards me with a pinch of salt, but it's a bit more of a challenge not looking towards her chest, which is right in front of me and held firmly by the garments of the school uniform. Maybe it's intentional. I know some girls enjoy teasing and getting attention for that kind of stuff. I couldn't stand not wanting to let my mind linger on thoughts that aren't appropriate, even if they are being taunted by Yuko's showy body postures and flirtatious tone. How exactly would you help? I know a way that get Ellen to open up a bit. Piano. Personally, I think I may be able to do most of the paper on my own, with a little bit of help from Ellen. But getting her to say as much as she did in class was a huge burden on my patience. It may be better off if I do get help. It's about the piano, right? Okay. I probably need, let's say, alright, sure. What tricks do you have up your sleeve that will make her less shy? Yuko smirks a small bit and claps her hands together. Go get lunch first. I'll introduce you after you finish eating. Huh? Introduce? Before I can ask her what she means, she's ventures off, leaving me to go get lunch by myself. And we'll get that lunch in the next episode. And actually we'll get the lunch in the meantime. But after getting the lunch and after this episode, we'll get to Yuko to get that trick. Or whatever she's planning to do. So for now, let's end it here. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And see you in the next one tomorrow. Bye bye.